Hello students, welcome to the brief session on hate speech. This lecture highlights the importance of hate speech, which has always been a debatable topic in India. Responsible speech is the essence of the liberty granted under Article 21 of the Constitution. One of the greatest challenges before the principle of autonomy and free speech principle is to ensure that this liberty is not exercised to the detriment of any individual or the disadvantaged section of the society. In a country like India, with diverse caste, creed, religions and languages, this issue poses a greater challenge. Article 19 Clause 2 of the Constitution guarantees freedom of speech and expression to all citizens of India. This article is subjected to certain restrictions, namely sovereignty and integrity of India, the security of the state, friendly relations with foreign states, public order, decency or morality, or in relation to the contempt of court, defamation or incitement to an offence. Hate speech has not been defined in any law in India. However, legal provisions in certain legislations prohibit select form of speech as an exception to the freedom of speech. Presently, in our country, the following legislations have bearing on hate speech, namely the Indian Penal Code of 1860, the Representation of the People Act 1951, the Protection of the Civil Rights Act 1955, the Religious Institutions Prevention of Misuse Act 1988, the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, etc. This issue has been raised time and again before the legislature, court as well as the public. In Pravasi Bhilai Sangathan versus Union of India, the Supreme Court dealt with a case where the petitioners prayed that the state should take preemptory action against the makers of hate speech. The court did not go beyond the purview of existing laws to penalize hate speech, as that would amount to judicial overreach. The court observed that the implementation of the existing laws would solve the problem of hate speech to a great extent. The matter was referred to the Law Commission to examine if it deems proper to define hate speech and make recommendations to the Parliament to strengthen the Election Commission to curb the menace of hate speeches irrespective of whenever made. While recognizing the adverse and discriminatory impact of hate speech on individuals, the court in Pravasi Bhilai Sangathan also expressed the difficulty of confining the prohibition to a manageable standard. The apprehension that laying down a definite standard might lead to the curtailment of free speech has prevented the judiciary from defining hate speech in India and elsewhere. However, the court again went into the question of hate speech in Zafar Imam Naqvi versus Election Commission of India. The petitioners filed a writ petition challenging the vitriolic speeches made by the candidates in the election and prayed for the issue of writ of mandamus to the Election Commission for taking appropriate steps against such speeches. However, the court dismissed the petition on the ground that the petition under Article 32 of the Constitution regarding speeches delivered during election campaign does not qualify as public interest litigation, and that the court cannot legislate on matters where the legislative intent is visible. Now, let us see what is the impact of hate speech on freedom of expression. Right to freedom of speech and expression is one of the most essential liberties recognized by the democratic states. The concept of liberty has been primarily influenced by the principle of individual autonomy. The liberal theory of free speech views speech as an intrinsic aspect of autonomous individual. Hence, any restriction on exercise of this liberty is always subject to judicial scrutiny. The objective of free speech in a democracy is to promote plurality of opinions. The importance of allowing diversity of opinions has guided the principles of free speech. Thus, even a speech that is vehement, caustic and sometimes unpleasantly sharp is protected from state intervention. Hate speech is an expression which is likely to cause distress or offend other individuals on the basis of their association with a particular group or incite hostility towards them. There is no general legal definition of hate speech, perhaps for the apprehension that setting a standard for determining unwarranted speech may lead to the suppression of this liberty. Free speech has always been considered to be the quintessence of every democracy. The doctrine of free speech has evolved as a bulwark against states' power to regulate speech. The liberal doctrine was a measure against the undemocratic power of the state. The freedom of expression was one of the core freedoms that were incorporated in the Bill of Human Rights. The greater value accorded to the expression in the scheme of rights explains the reluctance of the lawmakers and judiciary in creating exceptions that may curtail the spirit of this freedom. Perhaps this is the reason behind the reluctance in defining hate speech. Now, let me give you a brief overview of the international legal regime on hate speech. The working of the free speech doctrine very often points out to the failure of this freedom in addressing the discriminatory, hostile and offending attitudes of some individuals and some small strata of the society. It was this viewpoint that led to the prohibition of advocacy of national, racial or religious hatred that constitutes incitement to discrimination, hostility or violence under Article 20, Clause 2 of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights 1966. Similarly, Article 4 and 6 of the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination 1966 prohibits dissemination of ideas based on racial superiority or hatred, incitement to racial discrimination, as well as all acts of violence or incitement to such acts against any race or group of persons of another color or ethnic origin, and mandates the signatory states to provide effective remedies and protection against such actions. The issue of hate speech has assumed greater significance in the era of internet, since the accessibility of the internet allows offensive speeches to affect a larger audience in a short span of time. Recognizing this issue, the Human Rights Council's report of the Special Rapporteur on the promotion and protection of the right to freedom of opinion and expression on content regulation on internet expressed that freedom of expression can be restricted on the following grounds, namely child pornography to protect the right of children, hate speech to protect the right of the affected communities, defamation to protect the rights and reputation of others against unwarranted attacks, direct and public incitement to commit genocide, that is to protect the rights of others, advocacy of national, racial or religious hatred that constitutes the incitement to discrimination, hostility or violence, that is to protect the rights of others such as right to life. Thus, the definition of hate speech is still subject to wider intellectual and academic debate. What is at issue is the criminalization of hate speech and how the existing laws look at it. Since it is entrenched in the constitutional right of freedom of speech and expression, hate speech has been manipulated by many in different ways to achieve their ulterior motive under the garb of such right, and the law courts, in absence of clear provisions in IPC, are not able to prosecute hate speech charges that is brought before them with success. As per the Jakarta recommendations, which was a regional consultation on expression, opinion and religious freedoms in Asia, held in Jakarta, Indonesia in the year 2015, and which included expert participants such as UN Special Rapporteur on the promotion and protection of the right to freedom of opinion and expression, observed that there is a need to revise and strengthen the existing anti-discrimination legislation so as to meet universal standards on equality across all groups, communities, men and women. Law should be adopted to punish incitement to hatred that may result in violence, hostility and discrimination. They should be implemented in a non-selective, non-arbitrary and transparent manner, which should not be used to stifle dissent or the legitimate exercise of freedom of expression. Hence, all instances of violations of freedom of expression in the context of religion and incitement of hatred resulting in violence should be condemned and prevented. Fight against hate speech cannot be isolated. It should be discussed on a wider platform such as the United Nations, and every responsible government, regional bodies and other international and regional actors should respond to this threat. I hope you have now briefly understood the hate speech and its implications in legal arena. Thank you.